the celebrity partnerships, we usually sell those for a limited time, sort of like a Supreme model.
Hey, my name is Felix Tia. I'm the host of Shopify Masters, a weekly podcast powered by Shopify, the easiest way to sell online, in person, and anywhere in between. Each week, we invite entrepreneurs like you to share what they've learned growing successful e-commerce businesses. In this episode, you'll learn how to grow your Instagram to your first 10,000 followers, what makes celebrities like Drake and 2 Chainz want to work with you, and what will getting an Instagram verified badge do for your business. Today I'm joined by Sean Kelly from Jersey Champs. Jersey Champs is your one-stop shop for one-of-a-kind jerseys that make you stand out from the crowd, and it started in 2016 and based out of Bridgewater, New Jersey, and has done over $2 million in sales in 2.5 years. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you, Felix. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So you told us that your vision was to revolutionize the jersey world with affordability and sleek designs, just like Movement Watches did with their watches. So why did you choose jerseys specifically?
Yeah, so I loved sports growing up as a kid. So I obviously love jerseys, and I wanted to kind of put my own spin on it because I already knew they sold well.
Got it. Did you have experience selling jerseys or any kind of apparel in the past?
In high school, I would get the group orders going with everyone for NBA jerseys. So I knew how to organize big orders, but I never sold any jerseys prior to that.
And what about other businesses? Have you started other businesses in the past other than what you're doing with the jerseys?
No, I just helped my father with his book business back in the days when I was a kid, but I never had my own.
Got it. Okay, so you had this idea, had this vision in mind for the kind of business that you wanted to build. You already had some experience, like you said, organizing these group orders for jerseys. What were the kind of first steps that you took to start building out the business?
So I first started by growing an Instagram page that was basketball related, and then I eventually converted that into Jersey Champs.
I see. So you were building this kind of audience that didn't really have did you have an idea for the kind of product that you want to sell at that time, or were you just trying to build up an Instagram profile?
Just trying to build it up with basketball memes and videos and stuff.
Okay, so you were building this up while you were knowing that you would want to sell products through it, or just kind of as a thing you're doing for fun, or?
Yeah, I was doing it for fun back then. I think I was only 18, so I just liked posting content, and then I eventually saw a business opportunity with it.
How big did it get? Did you remember when before you realized, like, hey, there's a chance for me to turn this audience into a business?
I think we're at like 12,000 followers.
Okay, so you had 12,000 followers, and you already had experience in the past with jerseys. What did you know you had to start putting into place to build a business behind it?
So I was new to everything. So I built a really crappy website on WordPress, and then started trying to sell stuff. And slowly but surely, it just started popping off. And then, our website would eventually start crashing. So we switched over to Shopify.
Got it. Okay, so you had this basketball-related Instagram profile. You grew to 12,000 followers before you started to take it seriously in terms of turning into a business. How did you get it to 12,000? How long did that take? Like, what were you do? How often were you posting? Like, give us an idea of like the kind of work they got to put in to get to 12,000.
Yeah, it was a lot of manual work. I'd say it took almost a year because the first 10K is definitely the hardest, and I would just manually be liking and commenting on other basketball pages posts and like following people and all that stuff. So it definitely took a while.
How much time were you spending like a day on this?
I'd say about 8 hours a day.
Yeah, wow, 8 hours a day. That's definitely a ton of work. So you're doing things like reaching out to other big profiles. Like if you were to give advice to someone that wants to follow in the footsteps that you've taken to get to 10,000 followers, were there specific things that you found that were kind of like the most valuable use of your time? Because not everyone has 8 hours. Let's say they have a few hours a day to work on this, or something that they should focus on during that time.
Yeah, well, if you have the money, I would recommend just buying Facebook ads or either shout outs, because those will definitely grow your pages as well as bringing sales.
So you're buying like Facebook ads that are driving to like an Instagram profile?
Yeah, so sort of like an engagement post, but towards your Instagram page.
I see. Okay, so can you just give an idea of how that would be set up, like specifically the Instagram ads?
Yeah, so you would set up a PPE campaign, so an engagement campaign through the Facebook Ads Manager to a post of yours. So you want to use your most viral post if possible, and then basically that will direct users to your page.
Okay, so are you looking were you doing this when you were starting out too?
Yeah, it was one of the tactics I used.
Got it. Okay, so you said that, and you also mentioned shout outs. Tell us an idea. Give us an idea what that's like. What are shout outs? How do they work?
Yeah, so shoutouts are when another large page features your page and tags you. So basically, you can simply direct message pages and they can give you their prices. Almost all the big pages sell shoutouts, and it's a pretty good way to grow. And usually, you'll make an ROI back if you're buying off the right page.
Now, how do you do that? How do you make sure that you are buying off the right page?
So you don't want to look at their followers exactly. You want to look at their engagement on their posts. So what I try to look for is a lot of comments and likes. I don't ever look at the followers, and then I calculate how many units I'll have to sell to make my money back. And if it seems reasonable, then I'll do it.
Is this a good approach that you recommend someone taking if they don't have a product yet, but they want to build up a profile? It's kind of similar approach that you took, and they, maybe don't have the time to do it because they have a job or something, a day job, don't have the time to squeeze it in. Do you recommend people spend the kind of money up front without having a product to sell right off the bat, or is that like not advisable?
I'd recommend having a product just so you can recoup at least something, but it's all on the user. I know some people just do it to grow their personal brands as well.
Got it. And you mentioned that you want to make sure that not only are the pages have a high engagement through the comments and the likes, but then they also have to have some kind of fit, right, with what you're selling. How do you determine that? Like, what do you look at to make sure that they have the right audience for you?
Yeah, so for me, my jerseys are very specific. So if I'm collaborating with a rapper like Drake or 2 Chainz, I'll go to a Drake or 2 Chainz fan page. I'll go to a hip hop music page, stuff like that, maybe even World Star. And you want to just keep it in your niche. And then if it does really well, you can spread out a little more broadly. But I'd start very specific at first.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you actually work with these collaborations. So you mentioned some obviously huge celebrities here. How did you begin working with a celebrity?
Yeah, so our first big partnership, I'd say in the hip hop space, was with 2 Chainz. And I simply emailed their manager, and they've never sold jerseys before. So they were interested. We gave them a great deal, and basically they sold the jerseys on their website for 2 days. They moved around 5,000 units, and then we handled all their orders, and they basically gave us money to handle their orders. And then from there, we signed a contract, and now we're like their exclusive merch provider.
Got it. Okay, so when you have these kind of deals you have set up, you then go out to find like the Instagram profiles that you might want to buy shout outs from, and what's the kind of promotion strategy after you've locked down a deal?
Yeah, so once we've locked down a deal, their social medias will definitely generate more than ours. So we love when they post on their stories and their feed. So that's what 2 Chainz did. And then from our end, we can run Facebook ads. If we have access to their account, we can use all their pixel data. So that's really good as well.
Got it. Okay. So once you buy these shout outs and you're driving the traffic to your page, I'm assuming you only want to be launching like one jersey at a time, or how do you make sure that the attention is kind of focused on the right product when you're running these promotions with the other shout outs?
Yeah, so with Jersey Champs, we sell thousands of jerseys, but 5 jerseys are usually 80% of our sales every month. So it's all about finding those winners and then running ads to those jerseys. And then we'll upsell with other stuff. But we usually find pages just by, once we find one, we see who they're following or we see the suggested users. And it's usually pretty easy to find pages, honestly.
Got it. Now, when you're connecting with these celebrities and you're working with them, what do you find that they care about? Like, what do celebrities look for in a business that they will want to partner with?
Something unique, something other companies aren't doing, because most of these celebrities never really sold their own custom jersey designs before. So that's something we can bring to the table. And they want something that has a good brand image as well, has some legitimacy behind the company. So that's why it's very hard to get someone at first. But now that we've built this reputation, we were able to work with a lot more celebrities.
And if you have a product that they might not have experience with and it's unique, how much kind of managing of that relationship do you need to do? Like how much hand-holding or explanation you need to do with, because I'm assuming, like you said, they haven't done jerseys before. Do you have to explain the business to them, the business model to them? Like what's your involvement in kind of explaining to them?
So luckily that all like these rappers, they do sell merch like shirts and hoodies and stuff. So jerseys was kind of easy to throw in there. We just explained to them the margins and all that. But It was actually super easy because they currently sell merch.
Were there any challenges that you ran into or obstacles that you ran into that maybe you didn't expect when working with others or other partners?
We had to deal with some net 30s. So that's when you get paid 30 days after the product is delivered. So I was new to that term because I actually dropped out of college, so I never learned what that was. But basically, we had to deal with that, and that kind of backed up our bank account for a bit.
Yeah, explain that. So if you got a contract and it's a net 30, what does that mean exactly? And how can that hurt your business? Like, what do you have to look out for in terms of like ways that it could hurt your business?
Yeah, so a net 30, it could affect your business pretty negatively. Basically, they don't pay you till 30 days after the product is delivered. And when you're moving such high volume like that, you basically have to front the whole product cost. So at that time, that was a lot of money for us. And hopefully you're dealing with the right person and they'll actually pay. So you got to worry about that. But you just got to look for these terms in the contract.
Got it. Okay. I just want to jump back to the whole approach of buying these PPE ads. So you're looking for ads that are already performing well on their own first before you throw any money behind it?
Yeah, so if you make a post and it's doing much better than others, I would just run a PPE to it worldwide, and that's the cheapest way to gain followers.
How do you determine what kind of targeting you should do at that point? If your ad takes off, like, are you targeting people that you think might like that more of that kind of content?
So PPEs, you want the cheapest engagement possible. So you actually want a very big audience because the smaller the audience, the more it will cost. So we try to keep ours above 20 million people.
Wow. So the idea is just to get this to go viral and then just kind of blow it up and not like be too targeted in the audience that you're going after?
Yeah, keep it slightly broad. And then from there, you can retarget with more advanced features. And it's sort of like the top of the funnel for us.
Got it. Okay, cool. Now, when you are working with in a partnership, actually, are all the jerseys that you sell, are they all partnerships, or are there some that are kind of just done, just kind of solo with the Jersey Champs alone?
Yeah, we have our own designs, and then with the celebrity partnerships, we usually sell those for a limited time, sort of like a Supreme model.
Okay. It's the idea that you bring them into learning about the customers into learning about Jersey Champs through these partnerships, and then they'll kind of be repeat customers with your other products?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, when you are working with these celebrities, are you doing just kind of one at a time, or like can you do multiple promotions at a time? Like, what's your ideal approach?
We'll usually do a basketball and baseball jersey. That's what most of them like. Some of them will like a hockey one, but those are our main two. And then we'll sell them at the same time for usually 2 days to a week, and then cut it from there.
Mm-hmm. And then when you are running these ads and you're driving traffic to your site from these celebrities, how do you get them to kind of see more of your products and not just kind of land on that one product page for like Drake or 2 Chainz, whatever artist that they're interested in, actually kind of exploring more of the other products that you have?
Yeah, so we have a post-purchase upsell app. So it shows up on the Shopify checkout page after they purchased. And then from there, we have post-purchase email sequences that go on for a long time. So our customer return rate's about 15%. So we convert like 15% of people that bought something already.
Okay. Tell us more about this post-purchase checkout app. What app is it? How does it work?
Yeah, it's called Sweet Upsell. And basically each product for us has a trigger. So if they buy a Drake jersey, then this app will trigger on the checkout page and it'll show similar products to whatever they bought.
Is this before or after they've already made their payment?
It's before and after.
Oh, okay. So before they make a payment, then they decide to purchase without the kind of upsell you offer to get to them again afterwards?
Yeah, for a cheaper rate.
I see. Which one tends to convert better, the one before or the one after the initial purchase?
The one after is doing about 8%.
Which is better than the one before?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And then the email sequence, what's that like? What kind of emails are you sending and how often are you sending them?
Yeah, so we use an app called Conversio. I know a lot of people use Klaviyo as well. It's pretty similar. We basically have the abandoned cart emails, which do the best for us. We have one with our brand stories. So it's like a sequence of articles we're featured in and to learn more about the company. And then we have one where we promote our social media networks, and one where we ask for reviews about their shopping experience. And yeah.
And it's like an email like once a day, or how often do you spread it out?
No, I'd say once every 3 days.
Got it. And you test that out too, like you test like which kind of emails tend to kind of convert the best out of that bunch.
Yeah, we're always tweaking it. The abandoned carts definitely work the best, and yeah, I'd say those work the best.
That's the one that's like the very first email that they'll get from you guys.
Yeah, so they'll get one after an hour, one after 12 hours, and then one after 3 days.
And I know like certain stores have different incentives to get customers to come back. Like, what do you like to use to get the customers to come back in and complete the checkout?
Yeah, the first one will just remind them. The second one will give 10% off, and the third one will give 20% off.
Which one of those do you see get the best conversion rates?
The third one.
The one of the best deal, basically.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. So like you guys you've got this whole model figured out. When you're first starting out, were there certain things that, like you mentioned, you didn't know any, you said you started from scratch, you didn't really know what you're doing, but you figured out all out along the way. What particular skills you think that you learned have been the most beneficial to your growth?
Definitely learning how to network online helped a lot. We were able to get a lot of big partnerships from that to elevate the brand. Learning Facebook ads early on was very important as well. And now we're doing Google ads and we're getting into YouTube and stuff. So I'm always trying to find the next avenue. So I'm always adapting, and I think that's a good skill to have as well.
Yeah, I like that one about how to network online, because you can go so much further with the right kind of partnerships, which is obviously the model that has worked really well for you. What do you think that you did right when it comes to networking online?
I just spent so much time on it. So I learned pretty much what works and what doesn't. And I figured out a good method to use and replicate. And now I just try to do that once a month, and I'll try to email all these managers, and I can usually land like one big deal every month.
Can you say more about that? Like, what is the method that seems to work for you?
Yeah, so two of them work really well. The first one is just Instagram direct message. So we shoot them a simple message, and then from there, we'll get their number or email and negotiate. And it really helps that the brand is verified, so they know we're legitimate. So they usually respond, and they're not skeptical of it.
So you said shoot them a simple message. Are you like telling them exactly what you want right off the bat? Like, yeah, I have a jersey company. I want to work with you to create the brand, basically to put your brand on a jersey. Is that what you do right off the bat?
We'll pretty much say, can we make custom jerseys for whatever artist? And then we'll shoot them a mock-up of their album artwork on the jersey. Usually they love it. And then we get these designs for free, basically, because these designers really like hip hop and music. So they don't mind designing them. And we'll basically send that to every rapper. And then from there, we'll negotiate a contract.
And this happens all through Instagram, or like once they agree, do you try to take this like to a phone call, email, or something?
Yeah, we'll try to get their number as soon as possible, because their Instagram inboxes are flooded.
Got it. Okay, so that's one approach. You said that you had a couple of different approaches that work well for you?
Yeah, the second one is email. I know a lot of people really aren't doing this to reach out to people that much, but we basically email all their record labels and their management, and we have a template that we use, and it's pretty clean, and that's how we got 2 Chainz, Logic, and a few other rappers.
Can you say more about, is like the email as simple as the direct message, or do you try to provide more information? Like, how is it different than the direct message?
Yeah, that one's a little more information. We'll basically provide several pictures of jerseys we made with partnerships in the past. So it shows that we've worked with people related to them. And we'll also say our Instagram channel, we'll promote it on there, and we'll send it to our email list. We got about 1 million people on our email list, and we'll just help them promote it and sell it. And yeah, basically that's it.
Mm-hmm. Did one of these methods work better than the other when you're first starting out?
When I was first starting, email worked a lot better, and now Instagram works a lot better.
Got it. Yeah, with email, because you have a lot more kind of assets that you bring to the table, like that huge email list of customers on the past already, the Instagram following. You have a lot to bring to the table. When you first started, when you didn't have as much to bring to the table, like what were the kind of advantages that you present to them for working with you?
Yeah, the only thing we had when we first started was the ability to create the custom jerseys. We didn't really have a large following at the time, but now we have both, and I think that helps.
Yeah, that you mentioned that now on Instagram it works better for you. You also mentioned that having a verified profile is also helps a lot with the credibility. When did that happen for you? When did you guys get the verified badge for Instagram?
Right after Donald Trump got our Trump jersey, we were verified the next morning. I think that was
Wow.
about 2 months ago.
That's amazing. So once that happened, like how much difference did it make in terms of getting people to come to hit you back?
Absolute game changer. Our profile visits went up like 100x, and Instagram DMs, I'd say like about 20% of celebrities respond now. And before that, it was around 1 to 2%.
Wow. Okay. So like a lot more people are willing to work with you. So now you're at this stage where you probably have to be a little more selective, right? Because you're probably still scaling up to reach that the kind of responses that you're getting. How do you determine who you should be working with at this stage?
Yeah, so if they're over 1 million followers, we'll make them a custom jersey. If not, then we'll just send them a few jerseys from our regular website. And that being because if they're under 1 million, they probably won't be able to sell a lot of custom jerseys, and it wouldn't be worth the time.
Got it. Okay, so you're sometimes customizing jerseys, but then you're also just kind of sending to them as like influencers, like having them wear in their photos or stories. Is that the idea?
Yeah, we'll basically send them a free jersey. They'll send us a photo so we can use on our website because we have an influencer tab, and also we can use on our page. They can post on their page as well.
And how many are you working with at a time nowadays? Now that you are scaling up so fast, like how many, partners do you have in terms of influencers, and also in terms of people that you're creating these custom jerseys for?
Yeah, we have a whole team reaching out all day. We got about 3 people direct messaging people all day. So we send about 15 to 20 jerseys a day, I'd say.
Amazing. So that's the approach that's working the best for you right now, like the Instagram influencer marketing.
Yeah, it's just so powerful for branding. And that's what I care mostly about, and not the sales. So I just care about the brand and the image of Jersey Champs.
Why do you say that? Why do you care more about the? Was that always the way that you saw things? That you care more about the brand than the sales, or has that changed recently?
I used to care about the sales more, but now I just focus on the brand because that's where the long term value is. And most of these drop shippers don't have a brand, so they can't go to sell their company in a few years.
That makes sense. Would you also take that same approach that you took if you were to do it all over again, focus on the sales at first and then eventually focus on the brand, or would you have started with the brand from the very beginning?
It's very hard to start from the beginning with a brand because you really don't have much to provide. So I think you got to kind of build up the customer base first and then turn them into loyal customers.
Got it. So like build up the customers, the repeat buyers, people following you on your social media profiles, and then you can start establishing a brand.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Cool. So you mentioned that you're also now moving towards Google and YouTube. Are you buying ads through there, or are you working with influencers on YouTube? Like, tell us more about the strategy you want to take in that direction.
Yeah, so we hired a Google AdWords agency recently. They're killing it. I think we're getting like 12x ROAs, which is very good compared to Facebook ads because that sort of got saturated in the past 6 months. And then with YouTube, we're using influencers and pages and stuff. So we'll basically pay them to feature our website before the video starts.
So starting with the Google AdWords agency, what's your involvement with them? I think there's obviously a lot of value they're bringing. In your case, there's proven results. But how do you make sure that you're not working with someone that's just going to take your money and then not do much for you? How did you determine who to work with and how much to be involved?
Yeah, so I actually regret not starting earlier, but basically this agency was a referral from my friend, and they are based in the United States, so they speak very good English, and it's all signed with a contract and everything, so they're super trustworthy. I did a lot of research on them prior, and they've been killing it, and I like how we can just talk on the phone whenever I need a new campaign launched with them.
What kind of research would you do if you were to kind of evaluate an agency?
Yeah, so simply Google the agency, see if they're mentioned in any press articles, see their reviews on Trustpilot, Piss Consumer, and Google. And if those are all good, you should be good to go.
Got it. Now, when you are working with YouTubers, are you using the same approach where you're kind of doing that in-house and you're manually reaching out to these influencers?
Yeah, so I haven't found a good automated way because on Instagram it's so easy to just find influencers, but YouTube you kind of have to click a bunch. But basically, I just look for their email and then email them.
And you mentioned that are they like doing these kind of advertisements in the beginning of their video? Like how's it done?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen it, but before their actual content starts, they'll usually have like a 10-second to a minute long ad, and they basically charge you a set amount for that.
Oh, is this a new thing, or like is this like built into the video that they're recording, or like is it something that's supported through YouTube's like platform?
No, I'm not sure if it's new. It's not through YouTube at all. It's through the influencer directly. I don't think YouTube's getting a cut at all.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. Now, when you are working with YouTubers, is the kind of I guess when you go back to let's go back to the Instagram real quick. So when you work with Instagram influencer, what's like the ideal kind of outcome that you want? Like, what do you want them to be? I mean, I'm sure that you're not telling what to say, but like, what would you want them to say, or how would you want them to present the brand?
Yeah, so an ideal way would be to record a video of maybe them unboxing it or wearing it somewhere, or if take a photo with it and then tag us in it on their story and post. And that's pretty much it.
And you do any kind of follow up if they don't do this, or how do you make sure that you're kind of getting some kind of ROI?
Yeah, if they don't do this, which I'd say 30% don't, we don't send them any more jerseys. And if they do it, we'll send them 1 or 2 jerseys every month.
Oh, awesome. Has anyone ever come back and like, hey, asking to work with you again, but you know they haven't kind of held up their end of the bargain?
Yeah, all the time. It happens to every company that's doing influencer marketing.
How do you like gracefully handle that kind of situation?
I just either ask them to post or ignore them because frankly, you don't want to be wasting your time on people like that. But it's not a big loss for us because the jersey cost is all we lost.
Right, makes sense. So then when it comes to YouTubers, is that going to be different? Like, what do you want them to? What would you want them to? What kind of content do you want them to produce?
Yeah, so that's different. So with the YouTube pages, we just pay them every time they feature our video, and we use a video of just a compilation of celebrities wearing our jerseys and shouting us out. So it's not really like an influencer post on Instagram.
I see. So you produce the content for them and they put it in front of their video.
Yeah, it's already a pre-made content on our part.
Got it. Do you try to work with any influencers to do these kind of reviews or unboxings? Like, has that been an approach that you're taking?
Yeah, so we recently started using Cameo.com. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that website, but it's basically a site where celebrities can you can pay celebrities and they can say anything you want them to say. So you have a 250 character limit, and you can basically use that content in your ad creatives.
Well, so even if it's like a marketing message, they'll say it.
Yeah. I know Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank's on there, so a lot of my friends have been buying his for like business related content.
Wow, very cool. So let's talk a little about the kind of operations and the whole supply chain of running this business. And it sounded like you obviously already had experience in the past, all the way back to high school with kind of at least organizing the orders and everything. But what is your system looking like today to manage a big $1 million business?
Yeah, so we have a sourcing agent in China. So the factory has a close relationship with him. He gets all the products. He puts the jersey in a custom bag and stuff, and then ships it out to our customers. And when we first started, I was ordering everything to my house, and it was really rough. I would have to use scissors and tape and stuff to put the shipping labels on the bag.
How many orders are you doing at that time before you're like, hey, I can't be doing this in my house anymore?
I'd say we got to the point where it was like 25 to 50 a day, and it was just taking like 5 hours just to pack orders.
Wow. Now, how did you find the sourcing agent?
Actually, I found him at an e-commerce event I went to. So the power of networking, I guess. And then he's a super great guy, and he cut our shipping times down, and I think it's really good.
At that time, were you looking for a sourcing agent, or what made you realize, like, hey, this is somebody that we should be working with?
Well, I always wanted to keep the inventory cost down because we ordered way too much inventory to my house, and we were stuck with about 40 grand of inventory for a while. So I wanted to kind of switch over to just shipping from the factory directly. And that's kind of why I made that move.
Okay. Did you have to do any kind of research at that point? Because this is like, trusting someone that's such a big part of your business. Like, how do you make sure that everything is kind of, up to par?
Yeah, so it was another referral. I really trust referrals from my friends because they would not try to screw me over, obviously. And the guy that referred me does over 10 million a year. So
And is your kind of circle, your network today, where you're getting these referrals for agencies and sourcing agents, did it come from the Instagram influencer world where you had a presence on there and now you're meeting people that are doing the same things that you're doing? Like, how did you build a network that can refer you such great partners?
yeah, almost every entrepreneur I've met has been from Instagram, and it's honestly changed my life. And I try to associate myself with entrepreneurs and just people that are trying to do something good. And I think I have a really good network now.
That's awesome. Now, okay, so now the sourcing agent is handling all of that. Like, what is your kind of involvement in the rest of what is your, I guess, your company in New Jersey? What is that involvement in the entire supply chain?
So we get the returns here because it would cost too much to return them to China, and then I'll have to reorder it through the factory, whatever size they need or whatever. But basically, we don't ship anything from here unless it's during holiday season. Then we'll use our U.S. fulfillment center.
Mm-hmm. So most of the headquarters in the U.S. is focused around like marketing and sales.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I handle: the brand partnerships and the celebrities and just the big partnerships now. Because I used to do everything myself, like all the customer service emails, social media posting, but now I outsourced all of that.
Got it. And when you're growing the team, what kind of positions did you hire for first? Like, where did you want to staff for the team first?
Yeah, so first person I hired was a graphic designer to make the designs. Then I hired a few more off Craigslist. I believe it was free to post there now back then, but now it costs money. And then I hired a VA agency. So basically, they handle my emails and phone calls because I was doing the emails for the first year and it was just getting really annoying because when you're CEO, you shouldn't be handling customer service emails.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Now I'm looking at the site and there's like a ton of different kind of media mentions on here. How was all that? How did that all happen? Like, how were you able to get featured on like Fox Business, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, New York Times, LA Times, ESPN, like all of these massive publications?
Yeah, so the sports ones are from athletes wearing our jerseys, like Klay Thompson from the Warriors wore a Flint Tropics jersey from us. And then the more business related websites are probably when Trump got the Trump jersey. And then we have a few brand stories just about how we started and stuff on other websites.
Yeah. How did the whole Trump jersey thing work out? How was that all organized? How did this sound like a huge kind of boon to your business? Lots of press, lots of attention. You got verified on Instagram. Sound like it was related to that. How did that all work out?
Yeah, so it was pretty crazy. A high school student wore a Trump baseball jersey to a football game, and the principal of the school kicked him out for wearing the jersey. So that made national headlines. And then a week later, someone brought that same Trump jersey to a Trump rally and gave it to him, and he just took it and took a bunch of pictures in it. So it was super cool.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, awesome. So let's talk about your website a bit. Tell us a little bit more about the I guess the approach to the design of the website. What was important for you to get right in the design of the store?
I think social proof was super important. So we have a tab for testimonials. We have a tab for partnerships. We have a tab for I'm trying to think. We basically we have pictures of our Instagram and Facebook at the bottom if you're on desktop. So we basically just want to show new customers that we're legitimate because it's all about getting their social. It's all about getting their approval on our website because if they never heard of the brand, they don't know if they can trust us or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at this on desktop. Are most of your sales and traffic, are they coming from mobile sources?
Yeah, most are mobile because our audience is mostly millennials.
Right, that makes sense. Now, when you are sitting down to look at testing that you might want to do on this site, like what are some things that you've done maybe recently that has increased conversions? Is there something that you've added recently that has helped a lot with sales?
Our conversion rate is around 2%, and we're always trying to improve that. Quarter one is the slowest for sales, so it usually drops during January to March. But quarter four, the conversion rate goes all the way up to 5%. And I know one thing that's super important for that is website speed. So we hired a coder to just improve our website speed. And definitely everyone listening should hire a coder as well to do that if they haven't.
You have someone on staff, or is it just like, hey, for one-off projects to do things for you?
So I actually found him on Instagram, and now he's on staff full time. And whenever we need him, he'll come in and fix something.
That's cool. Awesome. So where do you want to see the business go over the next, the rest of this year? Where do you want to see Jersey Champs grow to?
Yeah, so our sales are going up every year, which is great. So hopefully we can keep that momentum. So as long as that happens, I'll be perfectly happy. And we're getting heavily involved with esports this year. So we'll be doing jerseys for a bunch of professional Fortnite teams. So that's cool. And we're always just looking for that next avenue. We just started using TikTok, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, so you mentioned a couple apps already, Sweet Upsell, Convergio. You also mentioned Cameo's other kind of source that you can use for influencer marketing. Any other kind of resources or apps that you either use on your site or off your site that you recommend others check out?
Yeah, I got a couple, definitely. Unicorn Smasher, great Chrome extension. It shows you the top sellers on Amazon, and it shows you their monthly revenue. So that's a good tool for product research. And you can already find winning products before you start spending money on Facebook ads, so you know they're selling. Another good one is watchcount.com, which is basically the same thing as Unicorn Smasher, but for eBay. So it shows you the most watched products. And then I'd say just to grow your Instagram for sure, because that's the most powerful platform right now for millennials.
Do you see any other kind of platforms? Like, what do you see as the future? Like 5 years from now, do you see Instagram as still being the top one, or do you think that people should start focusing their attention on maybe another platform?
It's hard to say, but right now I think they're the top platform for millennials. But we'll see what happens with TikTok, because that seems to be trending a bit now as well.
Got it. Awesome. So jerseychamps.com, or Jersey Champs is the brand, jerseychamp.com is the website. Thank you so much for your time, Sean.
Yeah, thank you so much, Felix.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Shopify Masters, the e-commerce podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs powered by Shopify. To get your exclusive 30-day extended trial, visit shopify.com/masters.